a project called 13 for BarnBridge. We're just going to get started. I'm going to hand it over to Bogdan for the tech update. Bogdan.
Hello. Okay, so I guess everyone's aware that we launched Smart Yield. Everything went perfectly, or at least in our opinion. We've seen some discussions in Discord, and I mean, all of us kind of want to clear a few things up. As far as we're concerned, this is more of a soft launch. So just a way to make sure everything works perfectly on mainnet, let it breathe, stretch out its legs, which it does. I mean, it works as intended. As far as future plans go, everyone is more confident now that the actual product does what it's supposed to do. And the only issue that we had was that everyone else had, this was on everyone's mind, because everyone started discussing this, is how to get some of the TVL from pool one moving over to bootstrap the product. So Tyler put up a proposal on the forums for that, or a discussion rather. Junior tranches have to be competitive when it comes to the variable API they offer. So there needs to be more than just the originator API to incentivize juniors to come in. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Yeah, so we have this forum discussion. It's gotten quite a few replies, I think, over 20 replies and overall positive feedback. The plan is to incentivize these junior tranches via more bond rewards. So we have a token reward pool. And also this proposal had the increased in senior maturity dates, I think. All of this discussion is going to go into a proposal. It's going to go into the main DAO so everyone can vote on that, and that's probably going to be posted today or tomorrow, I think, because we're pretty confident we've got the numbers right. Everyone seems to be fine with it. What else? We obviously have everything prepared for that.
Just to clarify, do you mean put it into a DAO proposal today or tomorrow?
Yeah, as soon as possible. I guess I was aiming for Monday at the latest for the actual DAO proposal. Is it not? Does it sound doable or?
No, so I actually think based on, I was going to bring that up less so on like a public call, but there's no reason we can't just hash that out here. Is there any like pushback to, based on the replies of this? Like I read them yesterday, like I was looking in the Discord, I read them on Twitter. The only actual pushback this entire thing got was, why is it not like more incentivized than like the DAO or like the actual like pool one? And the reason is because like the junior interest rate is also there. So like we don't have to incentivize it as much because like we're not just like giving away bond tokens for proof of capital to distribute the token like pool one. This actually has a real yield component there on top of it. And so if that's the only pushback, I have a very strong feeling this is going to get passed. And since the DAO proposals take 12 days, unless there's any like concerns, I almost think we should post this sooner than later. And then just as a cleanup action item, I'll work with on the team to kind of go through the older proposals, see which ones have gotten a lot of support, see if there's any other proposals that need to get put into the DAO. None of them that I've looked at seem like there's anything major from like a code perspective, but like the council stuff like that we were working on, we probably need to put that in as a forum and then consolidate some of the others that may be like grants or hackathon type things. So as far as like this proposal goes, is there any concern with anyone on the team that we don't?
The only thing that I've thought about in the last 24 hours is that if we're incentivizing at 6 months the junior tokens, and like let's say there is a gap, there's a high possibility that someone would pull out of the juniors during that gap. And if someone's in like a year-long maturity, are we like incentivizing people to get wrecked on the junior side if someone pulls out on anyway? Because it's obviously a nightmare.
There are some senior bonds that stretch to 1 year. Not all the juniors are stuck for 1 year, right? weighted average duration to the whole aggregate bond thing. So there needs to be many people with the max duration of 1 year for everyone to get stuck 1 year. So it's going to be less than 1 year for everyone. And just to add, I mean, we expected this to happen. The incentive to join needs to be there, right? So we've been building a modified yield farming contract since 2 weeks ago. It's ready now. That's why it may take until Monday until we add the proposal. The difference between this one and the old one is that it's continuous, and that the DAO can change the rate and duration anytime, right? The old ones had a fixed rate and fixed duration. So yeah, we've been preparing for this.
So the DAO, so we could actually change it while it's in production, while it's happening. Like we can actually, let's say,
so if it's 6 months, the DAO can change that and make it 9 months or 2 months.
And it's continuous, so there's no epoch, huh?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
My question is should we just make this proposal then only do this for a period of time, like a month, and then like in a month we test that out and launch that? That would be my question.
I think it should be 6 months, because then if it's just 1 month and we want to extend it, it's going to take another proposal and it's going to take 12 days.
Right.
We have to hurry, If it's 6 months,
at 6 months, that gives us enough time, right? Like to like let it run, and then enough time to prepare. If it's too short, it's going to be too quick, and if it's too long, we might forget about it.
Yeah. 6 months.
I think 6 months is the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. And we have the luxury of time to make good decisions, basically.
Yeah. But we basically need 12 days from Monday to finish that staking contract, is why we're posting it on Monday.
The staking contract is done. We have to review it a bit more. It's very similar to the DAO reward contract. It's a bit modified. So the audit that was done on the DAO is still good for this one as well, right? We have to deploy it, and we have to make the proposal, do all the actions, review it. And I think it's even doable tomorrow, but we have to, we have to do an internal call for that.
I understand now. Okay. I understand.
And in the 12 days that it takes for the DAO proposal to finish and execute, we have time to build the front end and whatever backend components are needed for the yield farming, in the continuous yield farming for junior tokens.
Okay. And then I can probably take this question offline, but I don't really think it's bad if the community hears this. But do we talk to Aave and worry about Aave after that front end and like staking stuff, or
it's going to be alongside it? Yeah, as the front end, people don't need to worry about that.
Okay, I understand.
We're going to start building the other components.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does. Cool. So I think that's a pretty good update in regards to the incentivization of everything. We do want to say that we are working on a new product called Smart Exposure. There's probably going to be some more about that coming in the next call, but just so the community knows, there's a product probably coming out between Smart Yield and Smart Alpha that we're calling Smart Exposure. It's pretty cool. I'm just going to let it be at that. It's coming from one of our partners. The other thing that we might want to give an update on is the Smart Alpha, where we are with that, what we're thinking. I don't know if Milad, you want to kind of give a quick update on that, because you're kind of the most.
Yeah, we have an updated model of Smart Alpha that could work really well based on the Smart Yield contracts. So we don't have to do a whole lot from ground up. It's still different, but it uses a lot of the same concepts. That's all I'm going to say about it. We have to do more internal testing. Yeah.
We don't need to go too deep into it. Yeah. Just to allow the community knows that there is a new model. We're working around it. And so we got Smart Yield out. We're adding to that. We're going to be adding other pools and everything, but Smart Alpha is still very much happening. And we have like new models around it. So with that, I think what we can do is we can jump over to operations, because there is definitely a lot going on in operations. Akin, I was gonna say maybe just give an update on the DeFi Alliance. I have a feeling that's kind of coming to an end though.
But also,
I don't know, what is the timeline on that?
Yeah, DeFi Alliance, the main program is pretty much over. The next thing is demo day. So demo day is on the 31st, Wednesday, the 31st of March. And so that's kind of where you sort of present where your project is and your product is, and to sort of everyone. I think typically, they got like 250, 300 people at the last demo day. So this is where, like, you know, all the liquidity providers and investors and everyone else sort of gets to see the product. So I think the timing is great for us since we have Smart Yield in the wild. And
What do we have? Do we have a plan around all that? Like, what are we doing for demo day? Like,
yeah, so they just shared the information with me yesterday. So basically, the way it works is you record kind of like a 4 or 5 minute video that kind of walks through your product and kind of, you know, a very short presentation, and then there's about 4 minutes for Q&A. So the way they structure it is they like to have the videos pre-recorded, so the times can be, you know, you can kind of fix to your time and things can move smoothly. And so I think all the teams then just present one after the other, get Q&A, and then, you know, liquidity providers will follow up with the teams that they have some interest in. Like, so in the past, for like some of the early stage teams who are raising, then they tend to sort of have conversations about fundraising. But I guess in our case, it'll be more about liquidity providers are interested in entering the product and kind of understanding a little bit more about that, and then just pitching to that audience, basically.
I'm just excited for all of those guys to see what we did. Just be like,
yeah. I
this is
think
the first
having
fixed rate in all of DeFi. What's up?
yeah, I think having the product live and working and hopefully the TVL running will be good timing to share and present that.
yep.
I have a bunch of other things to report.
Go for it.
Yeah, so Open DeFi, we got together a standards and disclosure group that is essentially, we had a call earlier this morning. And so what we're basically trying to do there is come up with a framework, basically like a questionnaire that would cover areas we think every team should be thinking about as they are thinking about standards and disclosures, but will also help users in DeFi kind of have a set of questions that we think are important for them to answer personally. So we have a team of folks from a number of projects that are working together, probably over the next, I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks, to put out a questionnaire, would essentially be the output. And then that'll be published under the auspices of Open DeFi through the network, and hopefully getting a number of projects to subscribe to the idea and begin to kind of construct and build their own standards and disclosures documents. So there are a number of teams, I think, that have internal kind of risk management or disclosure type things that they look at. So it's been a good process to sort of unearth some of that information as well. And so across all those teams, I think having a view for what we all think is important and creating this singular like questionnaire would be helpful. And we hope will be a good resource for, you know, the broader DeFi community to leverage. So that'll be the first step of that. Maybe following off of that, there might be some ideas around, you know, as teams develop their own standards and disclosures, like having some sort of repository so that, you know, a library that, you know, other teams can just kind of one-stop shop, kind of see what everyone else is doing and figure out how to want to build theirs. Yeah, so yeah, that's about it on the operation side. I mean, there's some things around. Should we talk about the Bancor stuff?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, so a proposal from a member of our community around building a Bancor pool for a bond token was put in into Bancor. We subsequently had a conversation with the core team there around this. So we're sort of aligned on the value of bond being listed there. We are waiting for Bancor they're in the process of switching from on-chain governance voting, which is expensive from a gas perspective, to a snapshot platform this week. So once that goes live, then we'll enable our proposal to go into voting. But I think we're fairly confident that there is broad consensus around the value of Bond being listed. And there might be some other things down the line. Eventually, once you build liquidity in junior tokens, we've had some conversations of potentially listing junior tokens on their platform as well. So, yeah, so we think there could be, some long-term relationship building and opportunities with Bancor, at least from the initial conversations and the value that can kind of provide to BarnBridge.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh no, I lost my agenda. I think we could move over to
Next on the agenda is
it was what? Sorry, I lost my agenda.
bounties.
Oh, bounties. So Mark, do you have an update on the bounty situation? We've been getting great. I don't know who's the guy who's been doing the call notes. Like, you're amazing.
That's actually a knowledgeable idiot.
Oh, really? That guy's awesome.
Yeah, so I had him do the original call notes, and I thought he did such a good job. I just had him do every single one ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to knowledgeable idiot, man. We really appreciate
Shout out.
So I made a little change on the last project call. I said that I was gonna relaunch the meme competition as just like a permanent bounty on Gitcoin, and my theory was right. We started getting more memes in the Discord and more people coming in. So I'm gonna leave that up there. I'm just gonna pay it out via my MetaMask wallet. So I'm selecting a winner every week still, and I would love it if someone in our Discord could reach out to me. I have a bounty up for a Japanese translation and some proofreading. I've actually really been struggling to find a Japanese translator. I had one, and he disappeared, and I don't know. I can't get in touch with them. Someone actually reached out to me again, and then they never got back to me. So if you have any experience in, speaking Japanese, translating it, it is a pretty technical translation. So, I mean, I'd say you have to be a little bit more advanced. But anyone that's fluent in Japanese would be able to translate this. So just that bounty is on Gitcoin, and I'm really looking for someone to help me with that. And that's actually something I've been looking for someone for almost 2 months now, and we're really trying to get that published. So if anyone knows anyone that's, even if it's not you, if you know someone else and you like to refer them to the BarnBridge team, and at this point we really just need to get that translated so we can get it out to our Japanese readers so that they can have the same resources that everyone else is getting. And that's really it.
Cool. Right on. Thank you, Mark. And then it's not the last thing, but Pablo, can we get an update from you on the Discord and website and everything? I know there's kind of a lot going on with that. So you might want to wrap up like councils and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
I can talk about councils, it's fine.
okay. So for the Discord, we've seen a lot more engagement lately, and it's related to the Smart Yield launch. We've been just trying to keep up with everything and be as active as we can. We have also been updating some docs and FAQs and stuff that we just thought we can improve. So just being active there and trying to talk to everyone, trying to answer everyone, and generally that's it.
Cool.
Pablo posted pretty extensive documentation on the Smart Yield products, and Pablo and Vitalik also posted a bunch of stuff on BondBet, which I guess we didn't even really announce on a public call at any point that we officially launched BondBet, but it obviously got overshadowed by the Smart Yield launch because that's far more exciting. but I'll just at least say that we're talking with Pool together on like where we take all of that from there. But if y'all want to learn more about like how to use Smart Yield or how to use BondBet, Pablo did. I'm missing these internal messages. Sorry, but
we have a bunch of new FAQs and videos and all sorts of stuff for Smart Yield and BondBet. So go check it out. It's in the I forget what that's called, but where all the FAQs are.
so I can just loosely answer this question that was posted in here. So like just random questions about like listings, like Aave, like what's going on with like DeFi Pulse. A lot of that is, I would just say it's coming. We had to launch the Smart Yield product first, and also to Bogdan's like original point, we did a soft launch. I would say when we're like humming over the next, I mean, we've got to get this proposal out. We've got to get the TVL up, and then a lot of that stuff is naturally going to take care of itself. But I've actively told major exchanges not to list us until we launch Smart Alpha. It's launched. So I think we're working on their timelines now. And same with Aave. We're kind of talking with everyone. We need to integrate with Aave at the end of the day. So I don't think I gave any information that's like not public. I'm just loosely speaking, but I would just make the generalized assumption that we're talking to everyone, and the types of like high list things that people think that we should be trying to go after, we are, and they're going to happen. And I mean, we're on their timelines. It's not our decision, but I would say within, the next 3 months, those questions are going to all be gone. So that's a general update. Is the best I can answer that. As far out, do we have anything else we need to go over? And I can just hash out like councils real quick.
No, I think you can just jump in that.
Okay, so as separate from what I just said a second ago, we've talked in the Discord at length about councils. If anybody like doesn't know what councils is, because they get this via like either email or they get this via like when it gets posted on Twitter, we've purposefully not talked too much about councils outside of the Discord, because like we kind of want a lot of the stuff to come up through the Discord. So like everything that we did with like the squad DAO, a lot of the conversations we've been having about this generalized council that we want to create, that is very much in Discord, because that's like where we, like that's the most active community that's having day-to-day conversations. So like Discord and forum are probably the best places to keep up with like what's actually happening. Like email and Twitter are very much like announcement platforms, and we're not trying to like announce a council for the people that are active in Discord and then have like an army of people from Twitter ape in who aren't even involved in the project, because we very much want to like rise up from within to like empower the community. So just so if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's what we're talking about. You should just get involved in Discord, and I think you'll probably know what we mean when we say councils. But realistically, we're going to put in some type of proposal where we have essentially 3 council members that can help vet out everything from like integrations to not necessarily protocol level integrations, but more like interface or just pure permissionless things that we could do or incentivize. So like Max and our Discord put in a proposal about like onsen for Sushi Swap. That kind of requires like me to go reach out to Sushi Swap, which I did, to essentially get in there and say like, all right, how do we work with Sushi? How does this interfacing work? How do we incentivize this? Is there any tech involved? And some of that stuff needs to get basically run by like the community, because the community is making those decisions. But nothing's going to get done if we don't have some aspect of like a council that can take in these things that are in the forum and that are being talked about in the Discord and kind of make them happen. So we basically put out a like call for help on more technical side integrations to essentially get people to come actually help us run this council. It's very similar to like Synthetics does some of this stuff. And I can't read all these messages while I'm going, so someone else can just hop in with questions. But basically, the generalized update for the council is I think we found three very good candidates that like we will recommend, but it's not our decision. It's basically still up to the community at the end of the day. And then separate from that, as far as like management of the council, we've internally just like general updates is we do have a new developer on staff named Alex that I don't think has been announced since the last call. He's actually a rock star. And we've also extended like a full-time like core team offer to another like very active community member who I'm not going to say just because like they have another job right now and they need to port over. But that person is going to be working very closely with Akeen to help manage everything from the council and then also like what we need to do internally to make some of that stuff happen. So Akeen, what he did with the member of Discord, who I know his actual name, but I don't know his Discord name, so I don't want to dox him. But what they did with Bancor actually was like extremely impressive. The Bancor guys were impressed. Shout out to Akeen for pushing that through. But that type of stuff, they're still going to need like help from core team. So Akeen and this other person that I mean, everybody will know who it is, and he's a good guy. He's active in the community. When he joins with this council coming about, they will help do what they're doing. So we're very much putting a strong focus on these types of things because like Bancor and the onsen from Sushi, that requires zero dev work. That requires like almost kind of politically going to Bancor and lobbying and trying to get them to help with something. Something like us integrating into Aave, that's not really a council thing because that requires like actual development work that'll help other timelines. So yeah, like us, say we needed to integrate into some protocol or make some extremely complicated thing, that could affect like layer 2 scaling. So we wanted to basically, I wrote a Medium article. This has been like a long time coming, but basically the buckets are like protocol level decisions. We've got to get those done according to the white paper. Interface level discussions. A lot of that can come up through the squad DAO and the council can help do that. So like the stuff that we were talking about doing with SynthBridge, that even what I did with BondBet, like that could very much be a squad DAO level application integration. And I do think that we're going to work on grants and things of that nature to help people build those. Like even what Idle put out recently, that they put out a grant for a bounty, like we matched it. And then there's just permissionless integrations, which also need to be addressed. So like the council will work with the core team to basically ensure that the community is getting what they want without affecting the original timelines of what we need to build. And that's just a long version update of what the council is, and we'll be posting it in the forum, I don't know, within the next couple days, because we had to get this other thing. The smart yield stuff is higher time sensitivity at the moment, but it's coming, and we've worked a lot on it.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot coming, and it's exciting. I don't know if we want to go over the risks. Mila, do you want to cover that really quickly, like what you would think the risks would be?
Yeah. So
there was just to paraphrase this, there was a question that came up, like what are the risks actually associated with smart yield? And the person probably best suited to answer this would be Milad.
Yeah. So the way smart yield works at the core level is seniors selling some of their risk to juniors, and that means that for the duration of the senior bonds, the juniors that have entered that trade basically remain locked until the end of that time, right? So when you want to exit the pool, you have two options. You either take a haircut pro rata to the amount of locked funds from the junior side, or you wait until the aggregate bond duration has ended, and then you get out. So you have a lockup period if you don't want to lose any funds. The second risk is that the fixed rate given to seniors is backed by the junior side, and any surplus that the senior funds make go to juniors. So juniors can make money as long as the provider rate, in case of the current pool compound, is above the senior rate that the pool gives. And the pool actually gives a dynamic fixed rate to seniors, which is dependent on the pool composition and the moving average rate of compound in this case. So it's a pretty good system to not give too much fixed rate to seniors. But if after seniors get their bonds, the price goes, the APY of the compound goes way below the aggregate bond APY, juniors actually cover the difference, so they lose money. That's the second risk. The third risk is basically like any other protocol, smart contract risk, and as time goes on, it gets more battle tested, and basically, I mean, we did 2 audits, we are pretty confident about it, but time is the best, and that's why we did the soft launch, and we didn't want the huge TVL first day, so we can see how it behaves. Yeah, so those are the risks basically.
Yeah, I would just reiterate, thanks a lot. Yeah, look, guys, like this product isn't like some of the other yield products on the market, like Aave, where you can deposit collateral, you can take it out whenever you want, no issue there. We, as Troy alluded to, we were the first team to ship, a fixed income product, and with that, the mechanisms are different. So please read the docs and do your own research. As a meme in crypto these days, but actually, this is a unique product, first of its kind. So it has unique risks associated with it, and your collateral can get locked up. You can, essentially have to take a haircut on your collateral if you want to pull out early. The secondary markets aren't entirely liquid yet. And the rate that the rates that are quoted are not guaranteed, in perpetuity. So thanks for covering that, Mala. I just want to, inevitably someone's going to deposit some collateral, get locked up. They didn't read the docs. They're going to be pissed about it. So this is our warning out to everyone. Please, please understand the risks and move accordingly.
Let me also address a couple of things from the community too that I think tack onto this. So first of all, the chance of absolutely losing all of your collateral is more likely not at the BarnBridge level. It's at our first 2 integrations are going to be Compound and Aave. It's much more likely that if solvency issues with Compound and Aave. When we say lose money, I just want to be very clear. We're talking about the variable rate on junior is actually variable, which means that you could get, when we're playing with stable coins and the ones that have less interest rate volatility, you're more talking about the pool taking a haircut if the junior outperforms them, but it is like a seesaw or a war. The junior side and the senior side are competing against each other to get the most yield. And so that naturally will be affected by interest rate fluctuations, which are quicker in crypto than in other markets. So when we talk about losing money, it's more likely that if you see a 30% interest rate posted, that's what you're essentially getting right now. If then someone goes and pulls money out of the junior side, then you're not going to get that 30% interest rate. On the flip side, if someone apes into the junior side, the senior side, then the junior side could potentially get a higher interest rate. But if interest rates on Compound pick up and go to 80% and someone locks in a senior side for a very long, that's why we started with short maturities. If you should not be able to ape into a 15-year maturity on an artificial pump in price essentially. So that's something that's just important to know. But in those types of scenarios, the most likely scenario is junior would take a haircut, not that Junior is going to get like liquidated. So I just kind of want to be clear. But at the end of the day, with everything at scale on a long enough time frame with a long enough integrations, people at some point will get liquidated. It happens in traditional finance, and it is what it is. Like that, there's no question that that's the way traditional finance works, and that will not be a hack. That will be a function of you took along a wrong side of a bet. In the same way as if I bet on the Chiefs at the Super Bowl, like Troy, you wouldn't have made my money. Okay, now the next thing that's is people have basically brought up, how is this a fixed interest rate if it doesn't always have the same interest rate when I log into the website? Now that's very important for people to understand, is that what you are doing is you are locking in a fixed interest rate at issuance. So in the same in traditional markets, there's bond markets, and issuance happens every single day. So those interest rates fluctuate. They're normally like kind of backed into the federal funds rate, and the federal funds rate changes on an ongoing basis. So basically the way that this works is the fixed rate that you're being quoted is the fixed rate right now on the platform. But if you ape in like more than what the junior side is, so there's like $2.5 million, if you go put $10 million on the senior side right now, you're not actually going to get that rate. So the way that it essentially works is you enable the token, you put in your amount, you see the amount and how that affects your fixed interest rate. And that's basically what you get locked in at. But it is a changing rate at issuance, right? So the actual rate isn't variable once you lock it in, but it's variable until you lock it in. And that's just the difference between issuance and holding a bond that's already been sold. If you buy one of these off the secondary market, that's no longer variable, right? That basically is paying out what the senior side says. But the principal price affects the way that an interface may show it. So that's just like a quick bond lesson to everyone that it's working properly. It's just at issuance, you're getting a different interest rate, but it's fixed.
You're getting a different interest rate because you're changing the composition of the pool. So the interest rate that the seniors get is based on the provider, in this case, compound interest rate of the moving average that we have, the one you see actually on the website, and the composition of the pool. So if there's just 2 million on the junior side and you put 10 million on the senior side, you move the composition so much that you get a huge slippage based on that, right? So on the senior side, you have a slippage, and that's why you're seeing another locked in interest at issuance.
Yep. And once there's a lot of liquidity in the pool, that will reduce, but the interest rate will still be variable until you lock it in at fixed, because it's going to change on compound and the junior side can change. So it's this ongoing market-driven pricing that is always going to exist. And that's a feature. It's not a bug.
Yep.
I think that's good coverage on everything. I know that it's a little bit of a different product from what most degens are used to. But it's pretty exciting because it's like radically better than anything out there for any of this stuff. So we're looking forward to really opening the gates on it here in the next couple of weeks once the DAO proposal goes through. I think that's a good place to leave it. I think we're going to clip.
One final thing.
What's that?
I have one final thing to say. Just shout out to like Malad and team. Like Stani looked through all of the contracts when they publish, because naturally he wants us to integrate with Aave quickly. And his like verbatim words were, I've looked at a lot of like tranching solutions and people trying to do what you guys are trying to do. Cause obviously Aave wants to like, you know, have this for their like institutional level people that they talk to. And he straight up said that this is the best way that he's ever seen this built or ideated, and that the code is super clean and flawless. So getting that kudos from Stani is like a big up. So shout out to the dev team.
Thank you. Shout out to the dev team. They did the amazing job, all of them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm done. I'll stop there.
All right. Now you're all right. All right. So with that, I think we're going to call the call. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming in the next 2 weeks. So pay attention. Probably around that time, the proposal will have passed, or it's about to pass. So we look forward to talking to all you in the Discord. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, hit us up. We're around. And we look forward to showing you what's coming next. All right, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a good one.
Cheers, guys.
Everyone, later.